Tottenham Hotspur 1, Ipswich Town 2. Welcome into Top of the Perch. I'm your host, as always, Nick Burt. And here we go again, headed into another international break off an absolutely disgusting loss. Tottenham Hotspur at home today against a team that has not won a Premier League game this season. And guess what they do? They go down 2-0 in the first half, only get one back in the second half, drop all 3 points to Ipswich Town for their first Premier League win since 2002. Oh my gosh, this team is so, it's not good at all for mental health, honestly. For normal health, mental health, spiritual health, all the types of health. This team is not good for that at all. I can't even say I'm surprised anymore, honestly. Like, the whole Dr. Tottenham thing, like, people like to make jokes about that. That is 1,000% real. There's no ways around it. The fact we did it to Crystal Palace, we've now done it to Ipswich. Can't wait to come back from the international break and do it to City, even though we started this downfall. We're both going to start and end it. So that's pretty unique for Tottenham, because City are going to come out flying after the international break. But this was it was a disaster. It was a disaster of a game. There was zero adaptation in tactics, which we should be used to by now under Postecoglou, but we still end up in these situations where we're just asking, what are we even doing? I don't even know what to say. The first goal, it was driven to somewhat to the far post. It was an overhead shot. He was trying to do a bicycle. It ended up being really bad, but it gets deflected to the near post when he's at the far post. You know what I mean. But, it's 1-0 to Ipswich 31 minutes into this game. And then Liam Delap on the counterattack, while Tottenham come very close to scoring an equalizer just, right in before the buildup of the second goal. They come very close. Ipswich, they barely keep it in on the back line. It ends up being played forward. Tottenham are running in from behind. I believe it was Bentancur made a challenge right at midfield. It was played advantage. And Delop's in, and, it was over by that point. It's 2-0. We're going into the half. And at this point, it's just laughing. It's just laughing at this point because, of course, Tottenham are down 2-0 to one of the worst teams in the league. And here we are, Ed Sheeran sitting in a box laughing because his Ipswich are up on Tottenham. I don't even have the words for it because it's so utterly annoying. This is how this team is. We came into this past week. We lost the Palace game. We then beat City at home in the Carabao Cup to advance. We thoroughly dominated Aston Villa in the league on Sunday. We go to Galatasaray. We look awful. We lose. And then we have this. And I don't even know. That is the most Tottenham run of fixtures to ever happen, honestly. Like I said, I can't even say I'm surprised because I'm not. This is 100% something this team would do. And there's no words for it. There really are no words for it other than Spursy. It is Spursy. It annoys me so much that this is the team that I love, the team that I choose to root for. After it, I don't know. I don't know why they are the way they are. Now, second half, it started really well. 49th minute, Solanke put it in the back of the net. he didn't even celebrate because he knew he shot it off his own arm. And of course, that will be a handball. It's ruled back. And I mean, once I knew he wasn't celebrating, I'm like, okay, it 100% like was off his arm. This shouldn't have even been close to as long of a VAR check as it was. Yet it was, and whatever. So Tottenham continued to play down 2 for, I mean, most of the second half. Bentancur in the 69th minute finds the first goal of the game off a corner. Brilliant header. But still, that no matter what, that wasn't going to be enough because this team, it's never enough with this team. It never is enough. And that is honestly one of the most annoying parts of it. So, yet here we are. Here we are. Ipswich truly probably had no reason to win this game. Now, when we look at the stats, like, kind of does lean towards them. Like, hey, like they probably should have won this game, which they did. But it's so utterly embarrassing the way this team loses. Like, we look good against very good teams. Like, we looked good at Old Trafford. We looked good against City. Now, granted, City was playing a B squad. It's still City. We looked good against Villa. Yet we've looked utterly horrific against, we got the win against AZ Alkmaar. We looked awful in that game. We lost the Crystal Palace game, a team that hadn't won a game all year. We lost to Ipswich, who haven't won a game all year. We have coaches out in Turkey taking shots at us because, they were talking about Victor Osimhen, and he's like, well, we just need to start getting him to score against big clubs. And then I think the media member said, well, he scored against Tottenham. And he's like, yeah, that's right. I said big clubs. That may have been 100% fake. I don't know, but it sounds real because this is just the way Tottenham play. I don't get it. I don't get it anymore, and I never think I will, because this is how this team has been. I've been supporting this team since, I think, 2010, somewhere around there. This team has been like that this whole time. Like, there's no changing. We've been through probably 10 managers, it feels like, in that time frame. It's I don't get it. I truly don't get it. I don't get how we end up here every single year. And the funny thing is, with the way the results fell, if Tottenham would have got 3 points today, they would have been third in the Premier League, which is absolutely insane to say. Yet now we're sitting in the doldrums because we lost 2-1 to a bad Ipswich Town team. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. So let's get into the stats. I mean, of course, Tottenham are going to dominate the possession because, of course, they did. They're going to get the more shots because, of course, they did. You know what they didn't do? They didn't get the more goals. The finishing on this team is just utterly horrific. Nobody seems to be in form right now. It's so bad everywhere. It is so bad everywhere. It's so tough to watch this team, especially going into an international break, because this is just so common now. It's so common, it's honestly amusing. So, with that being said, it's a bloodbath here on the player ratings this week because it is just that bad. We had a few saving graces, but man, oh man, was this just horrific. Heung-min's son, 6.8. He was out there, I know that. He had maybe one, maybe two opportunities. That's about it. I feel like this is a game where he should be dominating, putting up 2 to 3 goals, and yet here we are, and he's sitting with a 6-8 and just looked bad today. There's no better way to put it. He looked bad today. Dominic Solanke, yeah, he had a goal. He shot it off his arm, though, so it's not going to count. Like, what are we doing? It's so, like, that is something that would happen to Tottenham. I don't think, I could be wrong. I don't think I've seen a player shoot a shot off his own arm. Like, how does that even happen? I mean, come on. Like, that just, it's things like that really annoy you, because those are things that you should be not doing at a professional level, especially when you're playing for one of the top clubs in England. It shouldn't be happening. Yet here we are, and it is. Brennan Johnson. I thought this was honestly the worst game we've seen from him in a while. And I mean, I don't think he's scored since the last international break. I could be wrong there, but just everything blends together now. I don't think he's scored since the last international break. And I think this was the worst performance we've seen from him as of late. He just looked bad. In a game, like I said, Tottenham should be dominating against weaker opponents, and yet here we are. Here we go again. I don't know. Rodrigo Bentancur, I thought, was the best player for Tottenham by far today. He gets the 8-1. He gets man of the match. He has the only goal on the day. He has the only Tottenham yellow card on the day. I thought far and away he was the best player I saw out there. It is what it is, I guess. I really don't know. I don't know another way to put it, because this team looked lethargic out there today. They looked like they didn't want to be there in a game where, like, it feels like this is a game you need to be there, and you're not. So I don't know. Pop Sar, 7-1. I thought he had an okay performance. Like, it wasn't awful. I thought he did well enough in the midfield to be okay. If that makes any sense, but probably doesn't. And I'm just probably rambling right now, because this team had my head on Mars the most of the day, honestly. It really did, because this is not a game Tottenham should be losing. Dejan Kulusevski, I thought this was the worst performance we've seen from him in quite a while. He earns a 6-3 in the midfield. He couldn't do anything today. It felt like he just truly couldn't get any positioning whatsoever, which is not something that should be happening against a team that's like Ipswich. It really shouldn't. Destiny Udogie, a 6-7. Honestly, I didn't think it was like awful today from him. It wasn't great. And mostly I'm holding back a little bit because we're getting to this next one. Radu Dragusin, maybe one of the worst football players I've seen play in a while. He is like a bad regen of Eric Dyer, because Eric Dyer at least had a few good games mixed in there. He seemed to find form really well under Jose Mourinho, and Mourinho seemed to love him. I honestly do not think I've seen Radu Dragusin play one like good complete game for Tottenham Hotspur. Like, he may be bad at the sport, honestly. I know he plays well at some points, like with the Romanian national team. I don't think I've seen a good performance from him at Tottenham, and the fact that he is like basically he is your, oh crap, we have an injury, you're starting center back. Like, that's a big problem. I know we asked for depth, and they're like, oh, here you go. Here's Dragusin. Player most of us had never heard of, but hey, he's coming from Serie A, so he's got to be good. He's not. We probably got hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived with that deal. His agent can't shut his yapper, talking about how he's the next, Maldini, and how he's going to be moving to a real club like Juventus and, the Real Madrids of the world. Brother, you probably couldn't even make it in Saudi Arabia, if we're being honest right now. Like, that's just the form you're playing on. I hope you turn out to be a better player. This may have just been a breaking point game, honestly, because that was just absolutely atrocious defending. Christian Romero, I'm not going to say that like he doesn't deserve any blame here either, because I didn't think he had a great game either. I thought he had a better game than Dragishin, though, and that isn't saying much. It was utterly awful. This whole back line, basically, I mean, Poro lost the ball so many times today. He only really has a 7-4 because of the assist, and it was a brilliant corner kick into the box. Other than that, this game was not good for him at all. I don't even know the words to put it at. It is just not, it's not good. It definitely is not good. We get to Vicario. I mean, he was okay, I guess. It could have been better. It could have been a lot better. But he only truly faced 3 shots on target today, and 2 of those went in. So what are you going to expect here, honestly? Timo Werner, Yves Bissouma, and James Madison all got subbed on at some point in this game. Those scores, I don't even know. Like I said, my head has been on Mars most of the day. Ange Postecoglou, I think this is by far the lowest rating I've given him, in his tenure. It's just, you can't be losing games like this. You can't be losing games like this and just failing to adapt the tactics. I get it. You're going to stay with these tactics no matter what. And look where it gets us. It gets us back to here. Oh my gosh, this team. It's ruining my life. It's ruining a lot of people's lives. Yet here we are. We're going to do the same thing in 2 weeks when we play. I believe it's at the Etihad too against Man City. That's going to be thrilling. I can't wait. I am so jacked for that. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, this team. So yeah, as you've figured, international break. So it's going to be 2 weeks until we see you again here on Top of the Perch. So thank you so much for watching. If you just stumbled across this rambling man, and you either enjoyed it or want to see more of it, because I know more of it's coming this season, make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe to the Nick Burt Sports Network. Tell anybody you know about it. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for that City game. Past that, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is AS Roma at home on what is American Thanksgiving. That should be another thrilling one. AS Roma sacked their manager today. That is the second manager sack this season for them. So good for them. Whatever. That's going to wrap it up for this episode, of course. So thank you so much for watching. We will see you again soon. Hopefully not soon enough, for another episode of Top of the Perch.